Good evening and welcome to episode 7. Episode 7 of Bag of Cans. Can you believe I've been doing this for nearly 2 months? I can't. Anyway, this week it's been brought to you by Seat of Pants Productions because, quite frankly, until about 10 minutes ago, I was bottling a load of beer and it took absolutely forever. Longer than I expected, and therefore I cut it a little bit fine today. Apologies for that. Also, apologies for last week's colossal blunder. I don't know how it happened, but for some reason I misread Saint Mars of the Desert as dessert. Not only that, but I corrected myself from having it right in the first place to getting it completely wrong. So apologies to St Mars of the Desert in Sheffield. I can only explain it by my eyesight being absolutely terrible. As you can see, these glasses are on the way out as well. And the fact that I was probably a little bit overawed by the fact that this is live television. No such problems this week because I've picked a beer out of the fridge that, it's it's done by a brewery called Boundary Brewing, which, difficult to misread that, isn't it? Although they've done their best to sort of make the font a little bit difficult, but nonetheless, I can decipher it fairly easily, even with my eyesight. It's quite a good one this week. It's called You're on Mute. Very topical. I like what they've done there. Good evening, Cameron. Cameron, sorry, it's been one of those days. Ewan, how are you doing, mate? All right. You're not on mute, but this can is. And it's a West Coast IPA, which is delightful. I'm looking forward to that. It did transpire that earlier today someone tweeted about the fact that Magic Rock have also got a beer out called You're on Mute, which is hilarious, really, isn't it? You wait, I don't know, maybe a year for some enterprising brewer to come up with a beer called You're on Mute, and then all of a sudden two come along at once. There you go. Anyway, I can't tell you much more about this apart from I can tell you quite a bit more about this actually. It's a West Coast IPA with 16 grams per litre dry hop of Simcoe, Amarillo and Equinox hops. If that means anything to you, then good. I'm glad it does. It does to me. I know what they're on about, but not everyone does, and I'm not sure it's absolutely necessary. Anyway, it's brewed in Belfast, apparently. So a West Coast IPA out of Northern Ireland. It's amazing it managed to get here, isn't it, to be honest, and turned up without several bits of cruddy customs paper attached to it. Well done, Brexiters. You've really excelled yourselves. So without crapping on any more. You're on Mute, West Coast IPA, Boundary Brewing out of Belfast. Let's give it a whirl, shall we? Promising. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's perfect. I'll show you the colour of that because you need to see this. So it's probably brewed with a bit of, I don't know, maybe Vienna malt or crystal malt or something, just to give it that orangey kind of flavour. The base malt I expect will be Maris Otter, probably, which, does not pour like that at all unless it's massively oxidated. They've got some darker malts in there, which will give it a really nice sort of treacly, malty smell, I expect. Yep, and it has it as well, but it's got a bag load of hops. So, it smells delicious. It smells exactly how it should. Let's see if it tastes that way, shall we? Cheers. Yeah, it does. Although, shit the bed. That is a lot of hops. I think, I'm a big fan of hoppy beers. I think they might not have quite got the balance right there because it is ridiculous. It's got everything a West Coast IPA should have. So it's reasonably malty. And it's very bitter, but I think it's too bitter. I don't think, or there's just not quite enough malt character to set off that bitterness. I mean, it is good. I mean, it's one of those. It's one of those where you think, you know what? I've had a drink of that. 10 seconds later, I want another drink of that. It is gassy, as you may be able to tell. But yeah, let's give it. You can't judge a beer by the first taste, can you? So let's give it another chance. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to slag it off because I appreciate what they're trying to do, and I'd like to see more West Coast IPAs out there, simply because for the last couple of years the market has been swamped with New England style IPAs, which you can't see through and look like orange juice. And I'm not a fan of them, if that wasn't obvious. I have tried them and I've given them a chance, but they're just not for me. I know other people like them. So I would like more of these, and I've fallen foul of buying a can of IPA in the past, and it being a New England IPA, which I've had to pour away because I really don't like them. So yeah, I am glad that more breweries are doing a West Coast IPA, and I don't think it would take much to tweak this to make it really good. I think they've probably gone a bit overboard on the hops. Because you're not really getting any of the malt character, and you should. But what you are getting is an immense bitterness that I reckon would be pretty good for slaking your thirst in summer. But it's not great at giving you that sort of rounded, nice wintry, autumny taste that I was expecting from this, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, it's a shame. But yeah, it's too overboard. I mean, luckily, as I said earlier, I like hoppy beers, but that's kind of ridiculous. And there isn't really any discernible malt character about it. I mean, the body's quite thick. I mean, it's exactly how an IPA should be, apart from it's not very well balanced, which is a shame. I think it's not going to put me off the brewery, but I would. I'd recommend it, but only if you really like bitter beers. If you don't, you probably want something a little bit less aggressive, should we say? Right. Well, we've only got a couple of minutes left before Pete Fowler plays his 43rd Spotify set, which I'm going to have a listen to while I clear up after the bottling that I did earlier. This is very gassy, and I may well do an outtakes of belches at the end of the year when I finish doing this. Who knows? We'll see how many gassy beers I have between now and the end of lockdown, which is when I'm going to take this to. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to call it a day there. I will finish this beer, but I'll move on to something else pretty swiftly after that. It's Friday after all. Do join me again next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week, actually, but it's going to be at 10 to 6, and it's going to be on Friday. Treat it like a swift pint on the way home from work, which is exactly what I'm doing. Until then, look after yourselves, stay safe, and cheers.